You wake up before dawn, the sky still dark, and in that quiet moment before the world stirs, you have a choice. Stay buried under the covers, letting excuses win, or rise and claim your day. Every sunrise is an invitation to prove you're in. Control, not your age or your circumstances. You might feel stiff, joints complaining, muscles tight, but that's the body reminding you it's alive. So you step out of bed and feel the cold floor under your feet. That sting is truth. Comfort doesn't breed growth. You lace up your shoes, not because you want to, but because you've decided you must. The first step is the hardest. Your mind will scream for you to quit, but you silence it by focusing on one rep, one breath, one moment at a time. You decide how this day begins, and that decision reverberates through every action that follows. You decide what fuel enters your body. That convenience meal? It tastes good, but it's poison for the temple you call home. You choose real food, lean protein, complex carbs, vibrant vegetables, because you respect your vessel. Every bite is a vote for vitality or decline. You don't let fad diets or flashy promises distract you. You stick to fundamentals. You prepare your meals with intention, turning cooking into an act of self-respect. When lunchtime comes and your calendar screams busy, you refuse to skip the fuel that powers your mission. You decide your level of effort when the weights feel heavy. The mirror isn't your enemy. It's your coach. It reflects your progress. And your excuses. When the barbell wobbles under the load, you tighten your grip and remind yourself why you're here. To own your choices, to command your body. You welcome the burn, because pain is the currency of progress. You don't measure success by comfortable reps, but by the ones you earn through grit. Your mind will beg for ease, the sofa, the screens, the sugar rush. You train it like a muscle, forging mental toughness through daily challenges. You speak to yourself with razor-sharp honesty. You can do more. You will do more. Whenever negativity creeps in, you confront it head-on. You journal your wins and your failures, holding yourself accountable. No excuses, no hiding. If you stumble, you stand up immediately, dust off and press on. You own that stumble as a lesson, not a setback. Throughout the day, you choose your attitude. You can let the traffic jam, the demanding emails, the unexpected curveballs steal your energy, or you can see them as opportunities to test your resilience. When discomfort shows up, you don't shrink away. You meet it like a worthy opponent in the ring. You control your reactions, steering each moment toward progress. As evening falls and exhaustion settles in, you review your choices. You made the right ones, the workout, the healthy meals, the mental reps, but there's always tomorrow. You rest strategically. Blackout curtains, consistent bedtime, deep, uninterrupted sleep. You prepare for the next day's decisions because owning your choices is not a one-off act. It's a relentless cycle. You don't do this for vanity or to defy age. You do it to honor your potential, to set a standard that no number can diminish. This is how you maintain male vitality after 50, by deciding every single day that you own your life. You wake up before your alarm, not because you're a morning person, but because you've committed to a routine that doesn't negotiate. The moment your feet hit the floor, you're already in motion. Coffee is nowhere in sight. Today you break the sugar habit and reach instead for a glass of water, with a pinch of sea salt to jumpstart your cells. You move to the corner, where your yoga mat lies rolled and waiting. You don't debate. 5 minutes of breathing, 10 minutes of mobility drills, and you're ready to face the day. This is the blueprint. Discipline wrapped in habit, executed without thought. By mid-morning, most guys are scrolling through emails or doom-scrolling social feeds. Not you. You've designed your morning blocks around high-leverage activities, reading a chapter of a book that challenges your worldview, writing in your journal until your mind drips honesty onto the page. Every word you write is a contract with yourself, a promise to sharpen the blade of your mind. When the clock ticks toward your workout window, you don't ask if you feel like it. You only ask if you want long-term vitality or a brief dopamine hit from another excuse. You lace up your shoes and attack your training plan exactly as scheduled. Strength on Mondays and Thursdays, conditioning on Wednesdays and Saturdays, mobility every damn day. Nutrition isn't left to chance any longer. It's a ritual. You prepare your meals in batches on Sunday, each container a brick supporting your fortress of health. Chicken, salmon, lean beef seasoned with herbs, paired with rice, sweet potatoes, leafy greens. Nothing processed, nothing to sabotage your engine. When lunch hour arrives, you don't scramble for fast food. You reach into your fridge and eat the fuel you prepared. There's no glory in spontaneity when it undermines consistency. You drink your green smoothie mid-afternoon, blending spinach, cucumber, a handful of berries, and a scoop of protein powder. It tastes gritty at first, but you remind yourself that grit is the taste of growth. Evenings are not for binge-watching. Shows until your brain goes numb. You've carved out a window for active recovery, foam rolling, stretching, a short walk around the block to flush out the day's tension. You might crack open a book on stoicism or listen to an audio on breathwork. Techniques. You control this time, you don't let it control you. 2 hours before bed, screens go off. You dim the lights, journal one truth you learned today, and plan tomorrow's must-dos. By the time you lie down, your body and mind know the signal. It's time for deep regenerative sleep. Weekend routines exist too. You wake up at the same hour, train when you're supposed to, cook when you're supposed to, rest when you're supposed to. There are no cheat days. There are scheduled treats that fit into your overall plan. You understand that one pizza slice will not topple your fortress, but every deviated choice chips away at the wall. You guard your schedule like a sentinel guarding the gate. If something threatens to derail your routine, you evaluate its value. Then either integrate or eliminate it. This system isn't glamorous. See, it's not about trendy workouts or fancy supplements. It's about showing up, day in and day out, and executing the fundamentals until they're as automatic as breathing. Male vitality after 50 isn't a lottery ticket. It's the result of unbreakable routines, rituals that demand your best, even when you feel at your worst. When you build and honor these routines, you create momentum that carries you beyond age, beyond excuses, straight into the prime of your life. You feel the burn in your lungs before the first stride is half over, the muscles in your legs screaming for relief, begging you to slow down. That's the signal you've been waiting for, the unmistakable sign that growth lives on the other side of pain. Every man over 50 who's still chasing vitality knows this truth. Comfort is the enemy of progress. You don't sign up for prestige when you choose the hard path. You sign up for results. The moment you lean into the discomfort, when you welcome the ache in your shoulders, the tightening across your chest, the mental shadows whispering quit, you ignite a transformation that no pill or potion can deliver. You start your morning with an alarm that shatters sleep like a judge's gavel, and you rise not to stare at the ceiling, but to confront the cold plunge waiting at the foot of your bed. The shock of icy water floods your senses, slamming you into the present. You don't debate the temperature. You inhale the sting, let it anchor you in purpose. From there, you step into your training space, barbell poised under harsh light. You don't count reps, you count moments of resistance. Each drop of sweat is a victory, each gasp of air a declaration that you refuse to yield to age. The weight on the barbell doesn't matter as much as the fight in your mind. By noon, your workday will challenge you in different ways. Tight deadlines, endless meetings, inboxes that feel bottomless. You apply the same principle. Where others see obstacles, you see a proving ground. You tackle the toughest task first, because discomfort compounds if left for later. You remain in motion, shifting from one challenge to the next, testing your limits until they crack and rebuild stronger. Every uncomfortable conversation and every nerve-wracking decision is a rep for your willpower. You hold yourself accountable, not to anyone else, but to the person staring back at you in the mirror at dawn. When fatigue sets in and your body whispers that you're too old for this madness, you counter with relentless self-talk. You remind yourself of yesterday's victories, of every time you chose the struggle over the sofa. You journal those moments, not as trophies but as ammunition against the inertia that tempts you at day's end. You understand that embracing the suck is not a one-off sprint. It's a marathon that stretches into every corner of your life. The relationships you nurture, the risks you take, the goals you chase, all demand that same willingness to endure discomfort rather than evade it. As night falls, you don't collapse into mindless entertainment. Instead, You carve out time to reflect on the day's challenges, to honor the pain you invited in, and to plan tomorrow's battles. You set the bar a little higher, another set, a longer run, a deeper stretch of your mental resilience. Because when you live by the creed of embrace the suck, you discover that discomfort becomes your greatest ally. It hammers you into shape, forges your spirit, and reveals the truth that age is not a jailer but a benchmark. You rewrite the narrative every time you choose struggle over ease, proving that real vitality is earned in the furnace of the uncomfortable. You've spent decades honing your body, pushing through workouts, counting reps, tracking macros, but too many men over 50 forget the most powerful asset they possess, their own mind. Mindset isn't a feel-good buzzword. It's a muscle that grows, stronger under load. Every time you silence the voice that whispers, "I'm too old," you're flexing mental fibers that harden resistance against excuses. Every time you replace "I can't" with "watch me," you're laying down new neural pathways that refuse to surrender. Think of each empowering thought as a rep, each moment of positive self-talk as another set, building a bedrock of confidence that propels you through physical challenges and into every arena of your life. When the alarm blares at 5 a.m. and your body begs for rest, it's that voice in your mind that will make or break you. If you let it run unchecked, it'll wrap you in blankets of comfort and why-nots. Instead, you must train that internal coach to bark orders. Get up, move, grow. You do this not once, but over and over, until get up is as natural as breathing. You script your mornings in advance, mental rehearsals that prepare you for pain and fatigue. You visualize each step, each struggle, each victory before it happens, so when the moment arrives, your mind has already won the battle. Negative. Thoughts are like dead weights dragging you down. You don't ignore them. You isolate them and lift them. When the thought "I'm past my prime" creeps in, you confront it head-on. No, I'm built on decades of experience. I'm smarter, tougher, more disciplined than ever. You journal these confrontations, writing down the lies your mind tells and then countering them with hard facts. Your daily wins, your training logs, your sleepless nights turned into strength. That written record becomes ammunition for every future skirmish, a visual testament to how far you've come and how far you can still go. This mental training must be relentless. Just as you wouldn't skip leg day because your quads are sore, you don't skip mental check-ins because you're too busy or too tired. You schedule them. Daily meditations where you sit in discomfort and observe your thoughts, deliberate affirmations spoken aloud until they pierce through doubt, cold showers that shock your body and demand instant mental control. These aren't frills. They're fundamental exercises that sculpt the mind into an unbreakable fortress, ready to withstand any challenge that age or circumstance can throw at you. When you've forged your mindset into peak condition, you'll find every day offers new opportunities instead of obstacles. Pain becomes a gauge of growth rather than a stop sign. Challenges become proving grounds rather than threats. And vitality, true vitality, becomes your baseline, not some fleeting peak. Because at 50 and beyond, the strongest muscle you own isn't your biceps or your quads. It's the mind that refuses to back down. Train it mercilessly, and you'll carry that unyielding strength into every moment of your life. You don't get to point the finger at anyone else. When you miss a workout, skip a meal plan, or let your mind drift into complacency, there's only one person to blame: yourself. Accountability isn't optional. It's the backbone of everything you achieve. Every morning you look in the mirror and ask, did I do what I said I would do yesterday? If the answer is anything but a clenched fist, yes, you've already lost before you begin. That sting of failure isn't weakness. It's your compass, pointing you back to the path you swore you'd walk. You track every variable, body weight, workout times, meal logs, sleep hours, because numbers don't lie. There's no hiding behind feelings when the data is laid bare. You write it down in ink, not pencil, so there's no erasing the truth. You record your highs and your lows, your personal bests and your failures, and you refuse to let a single entry be good enough. When you see a miss or a slip, you don't shrug it off. You double down. You don't wait for motivation to strike. You let the accountability of yesterday's mistakes drive the fire under today's performance. When you fall short, you don't make excuses. You name the failure, own it, and then dissect it like a surgeon. Was it lack of planning, a moment of weakness, external noise that you allowed in? You trace the root cause back through every decision you made until you find the exact moment. You stepped off the track, and then you set the correction. You write a plan to ensure you never slip at that moment again. You don't sugarcoat it. You face it square in the eye and vow to crush it next time. You don't do this alone. You recruit your own judges, a training partner who won't let you slack, a friend who calls you out on lame excuses, a coach who demands your absolute best. You make them gatekeepers of your integrity. Every time you want to bail, you hear their voice in your head. What did you promise us? Where's your proof? That external accountability amplifies the internal pressure until shirking isn't an option. You know they're watching, and you refuse to let them down. Or worse, to let yourself down. You're transparent about your goals and your progress. You share your statistics, your struggles and your triumphs, not to show off, but to demonstrate that you stand by every word you utter and every promise you make. You create a scoreboard that everyone can see. Social media check-ins, group texts, weekly reports. When you miss a mark, the world knows. That knowledge chokes off any temptation to hide or rationalize. You feel the weight of that silent audience, and you lean into it, using it as fuel to maintain an unbreakable standard. In the end, accountability is your greatest ally. It's the relentless pressure that sharpens your will, the mirror that reveals your truth, the contract you sign with yourself each morning. Without it, ambition is an empty promise, goals dissolve into wishful thinking, and vitality, after 50, turns into surrender. But with accountability above all, every day becomes a declaration. You are the architect of your life, the author of your story, and you will not rest until every page reflects unwavering integrity and unshakable strength. Now you've seen the path laid bare. You own every choice, you build unbreakable routines, you embrace the suck, you forge an unstoppable mindset, and you hold yourself ruthlessly accountable. Nothing happens by accident. Vitality after 50 isn't gifted, it's earned in the furnace of daily decisions. So stand up, face the mirror, and promise yourself one thing. You will not settle, you will not stall, you will not stop. From the first cold plunge to the final rep, from the morning journal to the evening review, you are writing your legacy with every beat of your heart. This is your life. Seize it with relentless consistency and watch the world bend to the power of your determination.